You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Gene. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Mystery Girls After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Mystery Girls After Show.
With a Time Warner.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Mystery Girls AFTERBUZZ TV After Show. This is the very first episode, Death Becomes Her, and I'm Heather Joy Smith, and I'm here with
Michelle Phi.
And Courtney Henderson is our third host, and she's going to be calling in any minute now, so we look forward to hearing from her. So, very first episode of Mystery Girls, it stars Tori Spelling and Jenny Garth, who we all know as the 90s girls from 90210.
Of course.
So, how do you think they did in their very first episode?
I thought they did pretty well. It was funny. They had some highlights in it, and it was good. It was kind of confusing, to be honest, because they didn't start with the pilot, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And we'll kind of get into that later in news and gossip, but for all of you watching out there, this wasn't the original episode that was supposed to air as episode 1.
Right.
So it was a little confusing to some of us who didn't exactly know what the plot was going to be. Is it just jumped right in?
Right.
I believe Courtney is on the line.
Yay!
Oh, hi, Courtney.
Hello.
Hi. So we just started and kind of jumped right in and letting everybody know that this wasn't exactly the pilot episode, so it was a little confusing to kind of follow at first. What were your thoughts on it?
You know, I loved it. I'm a little biased because one of my friends is on it. He plays Nick, their assistant. And it was just so fun to see him on screen and just to see the two girls back together after, like you guys said, 90210.
Yeah.
So I love that. The thing that surprised me the most, and actually my boyfriend brought it up with this and Young and Hungry that was on right before it, were that this is ABC Family, and the content of some of the jokes and one-liners is pretty adult.
We thought the same thing while watching it. There's a couple times where we're like, wow, this is a little racy for ABC Family.
Right, and is it appropriate?
Well, because we're thinking we watch, like, Family Matters, Step by Step, and some of those shows, Seventh Heaven on ABC Family, you know, and to see how far they've come since we were, 10 years ago when we were that age kind of watching this channel all the time. Although I guess here we are 10 years later still watching it.
Yeah, exactly. I think maybe that's what they're trying to do is kind of get those fans that were fans 10 years ago and draw them back in because, I mean, I'm kind of hooked on some of the ABC shows or ABC Family shows that are on right now. So it's working, whatever they're doing.
Yeah, I was going to say, agreed. I mean, I'm excited to watch where this goes. It's fun to see a sitcom that's focused with, female leads.
Yes. So since you're friends with Nick, who in real life is not Nick, but he's your friend, we actually had a couple questions that maybe you can answer. Is he their assistant? How does he know them? What's that kind of situation?
Okay, so he is their assistant in the show, and well, I think that's what he ends up becoming officially. Basically, if I remember correctly, he witnesses a murder, and he demands they help him solve it to catch the murderer. And the reason he goes to them is because, and that makes sense that this is the pilot episode, because I was surprised too after seeing all the teasers and every like trailer for the show. None of the stuff on this is really in that, but they were TV stars, like 20 years ago. Their characters that were on a show that solves crimes. So their characters solve crimes, which is why, like, when we see them break into Frank's apartment. She's like, this always worked really quickly on, well, with my bobby pin. And she's like, that's because there was the crew guy on the other side to open the door. So that's how they met Nick. Like, he came to them with this crime that he needed help solving and demanded them, and I guess turned it into an actual business.
Oh, okay. This makes more sense now.
Yes.
So in this episode, it kind of started out with this rumor that surfaced on TMZ that Holly had died, which clearly she was not dead. She was very well and alive, yes. And so this kind of prompted a string of incidences that happened throughout this episode. So one thing they did as soon as they found out that she was supposedly dead was they went online to see what people were selling, and they came across a sex tape.
Right, which is very interesting.
Yes. Which goes back to ABC Family being very racy, that they have a sex tape as the center of this whole episode.
Very true.
I know. Well, and it's funny, I don't think this is intentional by any means, but there's something about Tori Spelling's character already that just reminds me of Paris Hilton. And that sexy thing, like, played right into it.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good observation. I actually didn't notice that.
They were talking about her Louboutins.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, and just, like, kind of the like, almost kind of, like, fun and just playful. And, I mean, I have no idea, of course, if Paris Hilton's actually like this, because I've never met her, but just there's a lot of similarities to me, it seems like, just in, like, the way she dresses. It's like, this is so Paris,
yeah.
Back in the day when she was really kind of popular.
Yeah, it's an interesting observation, and I'll definitely have to keep that one in mind the next episode, because it totally makes sense now. So before we go on with where this sex tape went on to, we want to make sure that everybody goes onto iTunes and you rate us and comment us, and make sure to give us 5 stars, because this is our first episode of the Mystery Girls After Show. And also, we have Maria Menounos' new book, which is on the New York Times bestsellers list, has awesome tips and tricks on how to lose weight, and it's got tons of little pictures and stuff inside, so make sure to go pick it up. Okay, so they decide to have a memorial service. Oh, because this totally happens when someone has a hoax that they die. They definitely have memorial services, right?
Right, because that hoax was actually true, quote unquote.
So they decided at this memorial service that they were going to take this as an opportunity to try and find who the other person was in the sex tape.
Yeah.
Thoughts on this?
Oh my gosh.
I actually thought it was kind of weird at first, especially when they showed it and I guess they were looking at a picture and they're trying to figure it out who it was from behind.
Yeah.
And then when they were there, they were just kind of looking at guys and they couldn't see, what they actually saw in the picture. Mm-hmm. But it was funny how they tried to figure out who it was.
Yeah.
It's funny because I was wondering how they were going to do that when they brought that up. Like, how do you bring up because if she clearly didn't know who it was, you even see her character, like, I could possibly remember what he looked like if I saw him, I think, I have no idea.
Yeah.
And so I love when Nick is, like, talking to them, and he kind of says it, and he says it with such an absurdity that you can tell, like, he realizes this is not normal conversation. And he's like, so, anybody put a sex tape online? I mean, possibly anybody have sex with the departed? And you're like, okay, like, they're acknowledging that this is absurd.
Yeah. And Charlie comes in like, yeah, anyone? Come on.
Yeah.
This is not normal behavior at someone's memorial.
I'm surprised, like, no one picked up on that. Like, they were just like, well, okay, and they just went with it instead of, like, what are you talking about? Like, denying it. Like, it was weird.
There's a lot of odd conversations that was going on at this memorial other than the sex tape.
Oh, yeah. Yes, there was.
I don't know. Very odd. But it turns out that Frank kind of admits that he was in this sex tape from, 10 years ago or so?
Yeah.
And so Charlie and Holly decide that they are going to then go break into his house
While he's at the memorial.
while he's at the memorial, because of course, I mean, this would be the perfect time to go break into his house.
He's not home.
He's not home.
Right.
Why not? Go for it. So, like Courtney said, they go to Frank's house and they have a little bit of trouble trying to break into the house because clearly they are not on set like they used to be, and this wasn't as easy as it used to be just to barge right into somebody's house. So they have a little trouble, but they do get in. And they have
she's like, I'm a master.
Yeah, I'm a
Bobby said.
Criminal master or whatever.
master criminal.
I ruined it.
They have a little surprise guest when they get there. Frank apparently has a roommate who loves video games.
Yeah.
And they try and crawl around on the floor and try and find this sex tape, which was found, and it was titled Miss Dirty Girl.
I mean, how obvious can it get?
Yeah.
Like,
I know. One is like the only VHS sitting there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to know. I loved. I mean, I act as well as host, and so to watch when Charlie was going around the one side, and she knocks the coat rack down, and Tori catches it, or Holly catches it. Like the logistics of timing that out to not hit the guy laying on the couch. You know, I'm like, okay, how many? I'm like, in my head when they did that, I was like, whoa, that was cool. I'm like, how many times did they have to do that? How many times did that poor man get hit with?
Oh my gosh,
entire
the poor guy.
For them to like get this scene right. I hope not too many.
I hope not.
Hopefully not.
I hope he was unharmed. The funny thing about this whole situation is if this tape was made like 10 years ago, it was just laying out there in the open, like on the little shelf unit. Like who leaves their sex tape out in the open?
Well, obviously,
I mean,
Frank does.
That's where you're just like, okay, this is TV. They have 20 minutes to, you know, tell a story.
Yeah. But I mean, if Frank's going to admit to doing a sex tape at a memorial, I mean, he might be the kind of person that actually would show that off like a little trophy.
Yeah, you're right.
Or maybe he just like dug it out and like watch it again in memory.
Oh, well, he did have to take it out to like sell it. Remember?
Oh, that's right. Good point.
The other thing that I was thinking about that was, you know, Nick asks if any of them have had sex with the departed, and they talk about having a sex tape. You know, Frank selling a sex tape, but then it ends up being Charlie in the video.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is there another sex tape? Like, is that just an oversight?
Oh, that's true.
You know,
maybe they both
because like
had sex.
they wouldn't have brought it up if it was with Charlie. You know what I mean? So like, maybe there's another.
Oh wait,
another
but
one
at the end of the show, I just remember this. Frank thought it was Holly because they had filmed an episode that same day where they were twins, and so Frank thought it was Holly, but it was really Charlie.
Oh,
That's how they did it. That's right. I remember that now.
Yes.
Okay.
So they covered their bases there.
They did.
This is the only sex tape of the show.
Hopefully.
Although this will be interesting now that it got dropped into that Camaro at the very end. I wonder if it'll resurface ever, or that's just the end of the tape.
Oh, yeah. It could haunt them later.
It could. So that kind of wraps up the entire episode. Actually, Holly and Charlie then have this little moment at the end where Charlie apologizes to Holly for being so judgmental about the sex tape. So
she has to.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of wraps up our first episode, but Michelle has some news and gossip for us.
Right, so going back to the beginning when we were talking about how this wasn't the pilot episode, they are actually going to show that next week, which is kind of odd in, I guess, the logistics of the show, because they did show something that was supposed to air later and kind of confused everyone. Mm-hmm. But they didn't necessarily say why they decided to change the schedule and do that little flip-flop on us. So it'll be interesting to see how they decide to, I guess, show the pilot after the first episode, so to speak. Yeah.
That's going to be interesting.
I'll see if I can't get an inside scoop on that for next week.
Okay.
To see. I mean, and I've already talked to Miguel. The actor's name is Miguel, and he is going to come onto the show at some point. We're going to coordinate, so we just need to get that figured out.
Perfect.
But we'll figure that out. And I don't know. I know some other shows have done it a couple times, and so far, none of the shows that I know that aired episodes out of order did very well. So we'll have to kind of track that and kind of find out why they did it and see how it works for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I mean, they have such big names on the show that I would hope it has some kind of longevity to it because of their names, but we'll see.
It's funny.
It was very funny.
I wasn't really expecting it to be.
It's fun to see, these two girls off of, more of like a soap drama, teen soap in sitcom world, so that we kind of get to see that comedic side of them that we haven't really seen from either of them before,
Well, Jenny was on What I Like About You, so that was kind of sitcom-y, funny. Well, I mean, it was funny.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it was sitcom. That was sitcom. I totally forgot about that show.
It was a good show.
But it was actually a really good show.
It was very good.
And I will be honest, like, just from watching that you say that, I think she's a little bit more of a natural. At it. Like, like her line delivery and everything, it just kind of seems a little bit more, she just seems more comfortable.
Yes.
They seemed like they had so much fun.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah.
All right, so Michelle, where can they find you on social media?
Well, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram at _Michelle Phi.
And Courtney?
I am on Twitter and Instagram at Cohen, Couhen.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter and on Instagram at Heather Joy Smith. And you can also find Michelle and I in just a little bit at 10 o'clock for the Young and Hungry after show. So thanks everyone for watching, and make sure to go rate us on iTunes.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
How long is it usually?
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.